Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome. So, I have been trying out the new unit Witch Doctor, and I've been trying it in this Cairne deck. Basically, the premise of this deck is that we use the Alchemist Bloodlust Potion to enhance a Darkspear Troll. This guy has actually got a decent amount of HP, like he's got 2,690 HP, which is boosted with Cairne. So similar, to be honest with you, almost identical to the Troll's HP. So they're both relatively beefy, and they can withstand one hit from a safe pilot, especially in Cairne, which is quite nice. And the whole point in this deck is that we just keep cycling the Witch Doctor plus Darkspear Troll combo and pressure out the Dragon Towers with this, because this is a Dragon Tower meta, so these two units are both pretty good. We then have a lot of cycle minis. We have these guys to defend. We have Quillbore with poison because it's very strong in the meta right now. We have Chain Lightning, but actually that's been proven to be like the least useful in my deck, so you could probably swap that out for like Execute. You could swap it out for... probably just Execute, if I'm honest with you. And I'm also running Deep Breath, because Deep Breath's just very fantastic and very, very strong spell in general. Although if you wanted to swap that, you could swap that for Blizzard, for instance, and it'd work quite well. We're running Reincarnation on Cairne, but we actually don't play Cairne that much. Cairne is simply here for the 20% HP boost to our Horde units. Now, I'm going to be real honest with you guys. This isn't a good deck. It's an okay deck. Like, I've been playing it at the start of the PvP season so far, and it's quickly become my highest rated deck. But that is primarily because I've just played a lot of it. And I think realistically, the higher you go, the less impactful this is going to be. But the caveat is this, right? This is very weak to Deep Breath and Deep Breath only, realistically. It's also pretty weak to Blizzard. It's also quite weak to if they spam you with Safe Pilot plus something, like Safe Pilot plus Chain Lightning or whatever, right? This deck's clearly got its weaknesses. I've played versus the top players, some of the top players on the server that are climbing right now, and they just Deep Breath me, and I lose, basically. It's very difficult to win if you're just getting spammed with Deep Breath. However, if you're playing at a level where Deep Breath is not a massive issue all the time, then this deck's quite good. And I have won some pretty tough matchups. I've won against Hoggers, I've won against Jainers. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this deck, and definitely a good use of the Witch Doctor's Bloodlust Potion. I still think that is going to be the most usable PvP talent. I just think, unfortunately, the other ones are just not going to get procced enough. But anyway, look, let's go through some games as we always do, and I'll show you kind of a little bit about how this deck works. All right, let's start with this game versus a level 8/9 Grom. I've got a little bit of a level advantage versus this guy, so we can't take it fully to heart, but it's generally a little... I'm actually in the wrong game. That was versus a level 7 Old Murkai. So this is versus a level 8/9 Gromash. So generally what you want to do is you want to somehow set the combo up that your Darkspear Troll is behind your Witch Doctor. It will get the Bloodlust Potion, and it will actually also push your Witch Doctor along with it. Why is it actually important to have your Darkspear Troll behind your Witch Doctor? Well, actually, Witch Doctor will just tank a couple of hits. It's got a similar level of HP, so it's just quite nice in that regard that it tanks a couple of hits when you need it to. So this guy running kind of like a Gromash build with Darkspear Troll, pretty standard. Like, you see this quite a lot. Darkspear Troll, kind of more of a meta unit than it used to be, because it now no longer gets one shot by Safe Pilot. You're going to notice it here. Not going to get one shot by Safe Pilot. We were actually going to Deep Breath, but we didn't need to in this case. Interestingly, this guy's running Witch Doctor in a Gromash build, which to me just seems really stupid. The other reason that Darkspear Troll's pretty good right now is because they're very good versus the Dragon Towers, especially with Big Bad Voodoo. Basically can solo towers if you get it towards tower range. But what we're doing is essentially cycling over and over again this little combo of Witch Doctor and Darkspear Troll. It pushes the Darkspear Troll along. Obviously, I don't know why I accidentally played Chain Lightning there. Obviously, you become a little susceptible to AoE in this case, but nonetheless, it's a pretty good little combo. Obviously dies to Grom pretty much instantaneously. That's okay. But you can see what we're doing, and one of the big things that you need to try and do with this build is just pressure lots of different areas on the map whenever you can. Now, we're going to use Deep Breath here, but there was obviously a better option to use Deep Breath on the right-hand side. So, 1 second. Okay, sorry guys. I was actually just chatting to Arclight Battery. We ended up playing a game together and chatting loads about the game. Maybe I'll update you on that another day. So yeah, this is not much else to say. Like, we're just cycling our little combo over and over again. I wouldn't actually in a lot of scenarios, play that much Cairne. I think you'll find that in very competitive games, it gets quite hard to play Cairne simply because it's a 5 gold investment, and you know, playing a 5 gold leader on Heroes Resolve is quite difficult. I think it's easier to play something like Rend, because he's much more of a threat than Cairne. Like, Cairne is not that much of an individual threat, especially on this particular map type, whereas actually Rend works really well on Dragon Towers in general. So we don't really actually play that much Cairne, but in the games where you tend to have a lot of economic control, you can play Cairne, and that gives you an alternative win condition, or at least another way of kind of keeping yourself relevant in the game. Do you know what would have been a really, really, really good talent for... do you know what would have been a really good talent for the Witch Doctor? The beam slows. If you had that, that would have been really good. But so far, I'm not particularly enthused by many of the talents. Okay, so now we're going to go into a Hogger game. Yeah, this was a good one. So we're going to go into a level 8 Hogger game here. Just worth kind of showing you how this one works as well. Again, we're trying to searching for that combo. One of the big problems that you'll end up finding sometimes is that your Witch Doctor and your Troll Headhunter are just so far apart, but you can always just play the Witch Doctor and then just have it drop that potion for your Troll Headhunter to pick up. It's not that big of a deal. So we're actually going to zap straight away. The reason we want to zap is because we kind of want to, I was hoping to get my Troll Headhunter to, I was basically hoping to get my Troll Headhunter to kill the safe pilot, but that didn't quite happen. Nonetheless, still in an okay spot. We're going to get another safe pilot drop down. It won't one-shot my troll, which is one of the nice things because there's no longer ambush damage, so you actually have a lot of more ways of surviving versus safe pilots than you did previously. But we're going to keep going. We're going to play Cairne in this scenario as well, so we're just going to draw out the Hogger over to this side, and we are going to once again go for actually a deep breath in this situation just to stop him farming on our side. We really didn't want him going for our gold because we haven't actually picked up that gold mine yet. Has been heavily contested. But in the meantime, we now have a Cairne going down the right-hand side. And actually, he slightly misplays this safe pilot. And we're going to use a Quillbore to pull the safe pilot away from hitting my Kobold, which basically gets me some much-needed gold on this left-hand side, and that allows me to kind of play a double version of the combo. Now he's going to go immediately into trying to use... I get why he did this, by the way. It was the right thing to do. It's just that my Cairne reincarnated and he ended up turning around. So whilst we're threatening that gold mine over on the right-hand side, we're also going to go straight for his tower on the left-hand side, and that's basically taken very quickly with the Darkspear Troll. This is something that you can do quite easily. And once you've established, you can start to play a double lane threat. And that's what we're doing in this scenario. We are just playing a double lane threat with our Darkspear Trolls. He has to deal with the Darkspear Troll on the left-hand side, but he also has to deal with the Darkspear Troll on the right-hand side. And we're going to deep breath straight away. We're going to actually even use our Chain Lightning, and that ends up cleaning up. Now, we had a bit of a level advantage on that guy, so not much else to say about it. And now we're going to jump into... This was a really good game. If this is the one that I'm thinking about... a really, really cool game because it was versus another Rend. No, it was versus another Cairne. Yes, and it was a guy with a level 9 Cairne, actually, and he was playing an interesting Cairne deck. Sometimes you see this deck quite a lot. And he's playing a Frostwolf Shaman, Witch Doctor, and also Darkspear Troll. So he's kind of going heavy on the Horde. I don't particularly think that... I don't particularly think that this particular deck is that good. I think, like, if you're going to play this version of the Cairne deck where you are... And I will just quickly stop. If you're going to play this version of the Cairne deck where you're running the Frostwolf Shaman, what I would actually recommend that you do is you play the Witch Doctor first, give your Cairne Bloodlust, and then have Cairne push your Witch Doctor along. That's how I'd kind of play this deck. I think if you play the Cairne without the Bloodlust, and you're just kind of playing a very slow but armored Cairne, it's not that great. And what you're going to see me do here is I'm going to spawn a Quillbore right behind him, because once my Witch Doctor's dead, I don't want my Troll to get killed. So I'm going to spawn a Quillbore right behind the Cairne, so he's going to turn around straight away, and that's going to allow my Darkspear Troll to get his HP back. And he will reincarnate. Actually, he's gone... you know, I really don't know why he did that. He cheat deathed the Cairne, which is really odd, but he will still maintain range versus my Darkspear Troll. And in the meantime, I've taken a tower, and I'm kind of just going for ham on his base. But just another showcase of another deck that someone's running. Very heavy on the Horde, like we said, but kind of similar to my deck. He's just running the well pegs and also running the Frostwolf Shaman. Has some high levels though, so it's not like he was like super under level compared to me. But we had a pretty good deck in response, and I think another good win condition of this deck is just obviously with any deck with Deep Breath, you can always chip away at the base HP damage, but, you know, we're not relying on rotating Cairne, and I think playing a deck that relies on rotating Cairne is difficult when Cairne's 5 gold. He's just more expensive than other leaders. Okay, so we are going to go into... This is another Hogger game, but it was versus level 8s, so I'm not gonna show you that. We're going to keep going. Here we go. This is versus a level 9, so this is good. This is probably worth it. So we're going into another matchup here, and we start off with the Witch Doctor plus the Darkspear Troll straight away, which is very, very good. He's electing not to play anything just yet, but he polymorphs into Safe Pilots and basically then goes straight for my chest. So I'm actually going to respond by going for his chest. I would have actually potentially got too far behind on economy here. But he is actually a Old Murkai deck. So there we go. I've forgotten what it was. But Old Murkai versus this particular setup is pretty bad. Like Old Murkai in this meta where Deep Breath is so popular and Chain Lightning is really popular, it's just not, it's not really that good. But nonetheless, we kind of clean up the majority of his units. We're actually going to send Darkspear Troll towards his tower. So Darkspear Troll won't die to coming in hot anymore. So that's really good. So his coming in hot kind of gets wasted in that scenario. But we're going to send our Darkspear Troll towards his side tower. He's actually going to respond with a pretty good Old Murkai. But what we're going to do is we're going to drop a Quillbore to buy some time, wait for him to spawn some stuff, and then we're going to immediately clean up with a Deep Breath, which is going to allow us essentially to take this side tower. And actually, you're going to see how much power this Darkspear Troll gets just by pushing on his tower. It's so good versus Dragon Towers. It basically cleaned up like 6 gold's worth of minis. He polymorphs it and doesn't get any value out of it because he's already used the Safe Pilot, and at this point he's basically lost the game. Like, to wrestle back control in this scenario when I know I've got Deep Breath as an option, and he failed to use those well pegs correctly on my Darkspear Troll, it's just very difficult to come back from this position. And I think he kind of knows it. He's going to use another Old Murkai. We're actually going to use the Storm's Reach to get a couple of really nice trades. We're actually also going to drop a Quillbore right on top of it as well, just to make sure that we're trading for those chests. You know, like one of the ways that you can come back in this is by giving up too much economy, but nonetheless, nothing you can do in that scenario, and we end up getting a good win. Okay, now we're going on to some pretty tough matches. This is kind of like the higher end of the ladder. And we're going into what looks like... Can't quite tell. I can't remember what this was. This has got tough. So I'm actually going to immediately use my Chain Lightning here. And we've just seen him use well pegs as well. Not really sure why. Okay, so that's actually pretty good because we baited him to use his... Safe Pilot on my Witch Doctor rather than on my Darkspear Troll. So now my Darkspear Troll has got no real threat. We've just seen well pegs go down. Here comes the Old Murkai. We're going to use a Deep Breath obviously here, and actually a good defense versus the Prowler is just using a couple of my Defias Bandits. Those actually deal with the Prowler under the tower pretty well, especially if you kind of time them to charge the Prowler pretty close to the base. But we're in a good spot here. We're going to start to send another sort of Darkspear Troll towards his base. We've got a very, very good opportunity to use Deep Breath here, which we do. Little bit awkward that we didn't take out more of his Murlocs, but you know, we've actually done quite well in this scenario. And we're going to send another combination towards him. Now he will, I think, end up spawning another Prowler here, but we're going to try and go for his tower. Going to put some pressure on this tower because it's going to force him to respond, which as you can see here, he does. We are going to use Deep Breath just to clear things up, but the only problem with using Deep Breath in this scenario, and this is a bit of an error on my part, is he's now kind of open to get a pretty solid... Old Murkai off. We would need to cycle back to Deep Breath pretty quickly, which we are going to do, but we don't really have the gold to spend on it. Here we go. See, this is an error. This is a big error on my part. Not really sure why I used Chain Lightning there. There was actually no real need to. We don't really get a fantastic Deep Breath off either, but luckily we do get away with doing a really nice Quillbore. Lose a load of gold on my side over on the left-hand side here. which has resulted in a pretty serious economic disadvantage for me. But one of the things that I've got going in my favor here is that I have chipped damage away at his base. So even though we're a little bit behind on economy, you know, we're looking at another big old Murkai charge. This is one of the worst old Murkai levels to play into versus Deep Breath, because Deep Breath clears the majority of his units. So we're actually going to use Safe Pilot here just to stop old Murkai from taking this side tower, because old Murkai could, by himself, take this this side tower if he really wanted to. So we're going to go again, set up another little combo, trying to put a bit of pressure on him. Going to get my own mining going down here as well. We're not going to run at his tower, but we do have Deep Breath cycled if we want it again. I'm not really sure why I ended up using the Quillbore there, but it has resulted in me getting a relatively good clean. We're going to use a Chain Lightning there as well. But we got a relatively clean Deep Breath there that dealt with the majority of the attack. But once again, like, we're a little, I envision we're quite behind on economy here. He's spending a lot to deny me from taking my gold mine, which is not massively worth it to spend 2 gold on a Quillbore to deny 1 gold from the gold mine, but it is what it is. And as you can see, another old Murkai coming my way. We're going to wait on the Deep Breath. Deep Breath cleans up the majority. But we're now kind of in defense mode in overtime because he's got a level 14 old Murkai, and we have obviously not cycled our Cairne once. So we are a little bit behind on levels in that sense. As you can see, like, old Murkai basically almost one-shotting. So we're going to wait for another attack here. Just waiting. Not the best. Honestly, again, I could have been way more patient. Generally, if you see them doing this and they send all of their stuff down one lane, like, I should really be more patient in this scenario. Now we're going to drop Witch Doctor, and we're going to drop pretty much everything that we need to in defense. It is relatively easy from this point onwards to win. We just need to kind of make it to 10 seconds. So we've got a lot of really good defensive units in this particular circumstance. Even if he takes my side tower, it's not that big of a deal, which I'm just going to Deep Breath anyway. So we Deep Breath to clear, and, you know, we're in a situation now where he's not going to be able to get onto my base. Really, again, bit of against the clock on this one, and Deep Breath kind of bailed me out. You could see how versus like a really good cycle deck, if you don't put the pressure on early on, and if you kind of get taken all the way to overtime, you might end up losing to high leader levels. But, you know, we played that okay. Deep Breath bailed us out. Okay, so we're now going into, I think this was a Jaina matchup. I hard lost this Jaina matchup. I'm not going to go through it entirely. The main thing to note is that this deck, as you can see here, I'm just going to show you, this deck really sucks versus Deep Breath. Like, this, you play your Witch Doctor and your Troll, Darkspear Troll in a line, and they just suck versus Deep Breath. Okay, I'm just going to double check. Oh, this is a great game. Okay. Yeah, this is a really good game. So versus a Rend, again, like, Rend is a relatively difficult matchup. Rend that runs, like, if you're going up against a Rend that runs Deep Breath, you're going to struggle. And to be honest with you, Deep Breath in general, you're going to struggle. But you can beat Rends. This guy's got a lot of level 10s as well. So he's running a lot of stuff that actually counters this. So we've got a Wellpegs, which counters Darkspear Troll in general. He's got Harpies in this deck. He's got a lot of stuff that is going to make it quite difficult for us. But we're actually going to be able to get away with a pretty good opener here. Like, he's obviously got a lot going on. We're going to have to use a Deep Breath just to clear at this point. We've also got a set of Harpies coming in, which we could have really waited for, but there you go. Like, we're off to a pretty poor start, if I'm honest with you. We're taking a load of damage, and at this point I was like, okay, is this even recoverable? Like, I was in this situation where I was like, is this actually recoverable? Like, we've just got like 2 Rens coming at us in the base. But luckily, we actually get some really good value done down here. We're actually going to stun the Rend to turn him around onto the Cairne. So we dropped the Cairne, it stunned the Rend. Rend turned round away from my Troll, which has kept that Troll at a relatively high value. And we also have the Cairne to get a body block from my Troll. So this one Troll here is getting a lot of value out, which is great. And we're actually going to now do the split lane thing. So we're going to kind of split our lanes up. He's actually also sent his what are they called? Harpies down the same lane, which basically allowed me to get away with a lot. Like, I got away with way too much in this scenario. Really, really good. We're going to knock Cairne off, and we're also going to then deep breath the base. This has actually worked out really nicely for me. Because he's already charged, I don't think he's going to charge again. So we're going to get the good stun off onto him with our... we're going to get the stun off with our Defias Bandits. We will actually end up dying to the Prowler, which is perfectly okay. He's actually also going to, like, I don't really care about the the Witch Doctor getting well pegged. That's a negative trade overall, to be honest with you. But yeah, there we go. He's going to safe pilot my Kobold, but we are going to then drop a Quillbore of our own, so that's going to stop him from basically getting the free... It's so late, I can barely talk. Sorry, guys. You're noticing I'm struggling to get my words out. Let's slow down. Right, let's go back a little bit. Because I'm stuttering and umming and ahhing all over the place. Right, well pegs onto the Witch Doctor. We don't care about that, right? It's a 3 gold versus a 2 gold trade, and he doesn't really get any value off on the tower. I understand what he was trying to go for here. Now, he safe pilots my Kobold. Right. Okay, so we've got a Dark Iron Miner and a safe pilot coming down for a 1 gold mini. Best counter to this is just to drop a Quillbore. Quillbore doesn't have bristleback, so it won't automatically kill the Darkspear Troll. It won't automatically kill the Dark Iron Miner, but it will deal with the safe pilot, and it will eventually deal with the Dark Iron Miner, which then he spawns another one on top of this gold mine, which not much I can do about it. I don't really have another good answer, and this one actually will kill my Quillbore, so yeah, I just have to kind of accept that. Unfortunately, not going to get much further with that. He's going to get a huge amount of gold. But I'm going to now, whilst he's spent that gold going for the gold mine, I'm actually going to try and secure some of these chests because we really need to. We're massively behind in economy, but we're actually ahead in base damage because we pulled off that one singular move that was just really strong. I'm not aiming, like, these deep breath aimings are just absolutely garbage, by the way. Like, really just the absolute worst deep breath aiming on my part. I could really be doing a significantly better job than this, but whilst he sends this rend at my base, I'm actually going to try and go for another side lane push here using my Darkspear Troll. This might have been a little bit of an error. Like, I think realistically the better option was to stop this rend. Even though rend not particularly strong versus the Dragon Towers, he'll still get quite a bit of damage down. Now, he sent a lot of stuff to defend against that side lane push. We are actually behind in we're actually behind in kind of, like, I guess, base health at this point in time. It's very, very close. But obviously this guy does not have deep breath. So one of the things that is going to be very beneficial to us is if we end up using deep breath. We're going to go for a very, very big defense here. Like, at this point in time, again, it's one of those situations where we don't really mind. We are just trying to stop ourselves from dying. So we've lost the side tower. We're going to now start deep breathing the base. This would have been less close if we'd landed a couple of the deep breaths earlier. But again, we are just in defense mode at this point. We really do not care about trying to go for anything other than just defending ridiculously versus the minis that he's trying to unbound onto our base. So we're going to cycle to another deep breath, which is then going to allow us to get some chip damage down, and we'll even use Chain Lightning for good measure. That was a very, very good game, bailed out primarily by deep breath. But yeah, Darkspear Troll does get a little value if you can play it correctly, but that was just not a great game from me. This was a good game. This is versus a Grommash. This is versus a level 9 Grommash. Right, okay, so open up. We know that we have the Witch Doctor into Darkspear Troll combo, so we are just going to do that straight away. We are not going to go towards his side tower, but what we are going to do is, and by the way, if you've not seen this before, Murlocs with Bubble. You spawn a Quillbore with Poison. The Poison will proc the Bubble, and it should, at even levels or just levels above, end up killing them. But we end up just using Chain Lightning anyway in this scenario, which is okay. Like, he spent a lot of gold, and we're going to get a good defense off here. He's even going to spawn a Quillbore, and just to stop the Quillbore from getting any sizable damage done to our base, we're going to drop our Defias Bandits, which, by the way, Defias Bandits are absolutely goated in defense. So we're going to have another one of those situations, but we are going to use Deep Breath in this situation too. Deep Breath actually really nice because it's going to allow us to, our Darkspear Troll, to get away with taking down the Grommash. It was actually a really nicely timed Deep Breath. And he doesn't have a great answer for my Darkspear Troll. So whilst that Darkspear Troll was threatening the other side tower, we're going to drop Darkspear Troll in the other lane. And what this does is it forces him to commit resources to one or the other. He either commits resources defending his base, or he commits resources to protecting his side tower. Either option is bad for him, because he either loses the side tower or he loses a load of HP on the base. He's opted to defend the base and defend the base HP tower, which is fine. Now, you guys who've played ladder, you might have seen this Grommash deck. This is basically Cycle Grommash. It's very popular at the moment. Grommash is just super strong in this particular setup, but we're going to use Quillbore just to stop him from getting any further with that. And again, like, we are just looking to get our Darkspear Trolls on the base. We also have complete control of the economy now that we have this side tower, so we should, even with him cycling out this Grommash, be able to kind of out-eco him and just get loads and loads and loads of our Darkspear Trolls onto the base. Now, he's going to go for the side tower in this scenario, which is okay. Not really sure why. I actually think the better option here would have been to drop Cairne, because Grommash is basically going to solo my my tower now. But we can retake that. And the other thing that we've got going in our favor is the fact that we've already done so much damage to his base. Even if we end up losing from the even if we end up losing the side tower from this point, we have done so much damage to his base that a couple of deep breaths will end up winning this game. So that's one of the benefits of getting the damage done early. This is why you have to put a lot of pressure on early with this deck, because you will eventually get outscaled. We are not playing towards Hero's Resolve, so we're not scaling up our leader. We're just going to keep using Deep Breath, though. So again, we're now one Deep Breath away from winning, or at least one kind of, I guess, getting one Darkspear Troll into the base. There's no way that he's going to be able to realistically take down our entire base with Grommash. So we're just going to send more and more threats at his base. But what we are really trying to do is basically just cycle towards Deep Breath. We just want to get one more Deep Breath down, and that will end up winning the game for us, which we're going to do here. Grommash, very beefy, but the Deep Breath ends up winning. There you go. So yeah, fun deck, but frankly, like, Deep Breath won me more games than Witch Doctor did that game, and I just don't really feel like Witch Doctor's got that much of a place in a deck right now, but showing you that you can have fun with it and you can make it work. I'm going to cook up some more decks. I feel like a Witch Doctor Frostwolf Raider deck could be really cool, but let's see how it goes. Yeah, cool. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Sorry that I'm so tired. It's like 1 a.m. now. I'm not built to be up this late, but yeah, hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you soon.